now in this election. The current city council rubber stamped 10,000 houses and apartments at the Great Park. And if you think it's far off and has little impact on you or little impact on the university, you're wrong. We have waves of traffic that are coming our way now. And the next city council, in my judgment, has to be a city council that is ready to regulate the issuance of building permits, regulate it in a way that slows the rate of growth and makes it conform with our capacity to provide the infrastructure. These are the important issues that we face, that we must look at hard and fast over the next months, hopefully with a new council. We desperately also need a city council that will stand up to developers. It's prepared to say no. No to the big developers, and yes to planning.
Thank you. Well, as mentioned earlier, I'm on my way to 10,000 doors, and according to Irvine residents, the three biggest concerns to them are traffic, high-density development, and fiscal accountability. So those are the three items I'm running on. I'm the only candidate who has a traffic plan to help with our growing traffic crisis. That's on my website, evan4irvine.org. And I'd be remiss if I did not say I'm also the only candidate who is not and will not take any developer funds for my campaign. So what I want to do is synchronize all 338 traffic light intersections, and that's proven to work for other cities such as Los Angeles that finished their lighting structure last year, and they're already seeing a 16% reduction in drive time and a 12% increase in speeds. They're the first large metropolis in the world to get that completed, and that's something I want to bring to our city of innovation, to help our infrastructure, and it's not that expensive either. So I think bringing an effective traffic management plan to the city, as well as slowing down some of these high-density developments until we get a handle on what is that doing to our infrastructure. How can we improve our infrastructure to support all these? Because you have developers who, they come in, they build, and then they move on. It's up to the city council to determine what's best in the long-term interest of our city, and if our city can actually support all these extra cars, all the extra usage in water, and of course overcrowding in our schools. So these are things that I would like to address, and they're going to be priorities for me if I'm fortunate enough to be elected, and I'll be happy to do so. Yes. Thank you.
The question is, what is a pressing issue in the city of Irvine? I want to say that electing the city council and mayor who will be honest, ethical, and transparent. That's very, very important. We cannot go back to old majority system, which represented the corruption and which is currently under the forensic audit investigation. You may follow some of the issues online and all the depositions that have been made. That's very, very important, how the decisions, honest decisions, will be made. And frankly, the Great Park, we had a groundbreaking ceremony last Tuesday to build 688 acres. The remaining part of about roughly 500 or 600 acres of park will have to be carefully planned and according to the master plan, such as a cultural terrace and a lake, a beautiful lake will be built. In the cultural terrace, I have a vision to build a large metropolitan library so that all the citizens and the youth students can come in and enjoy. And then also traffic has been brought up. This is a continued effort of the city to find the best kind of traffic synchronization system that is available And my direction for the city staff is to monitor what we can improve the system much better than what we have. If you can compare our city's traffic system to other cities, you will realize we are still the best.
Now, I'd like to say something based on Mr. Choi, but I'll make my statement first and then move forward. I strongly believe that the government stay out of the way of business, period. Allowing a business to develop freely, create jobs, and the economy will grow. You all need jobs, and in order for jobs to be there, companies won't hire you if there are no jobs. So if we create jobs by building and developing the land, the places for you, once you get out of here, you can get a job. So that's really, really important to me. Our infrastructure is overwhelmed by every project that's going on here. It has been completed and then it's burdened on roads, energy consumption, transportation, water, communications, etc. We must invest in our city's infrastructure, including coming up with a comprehensive solution to our city's transportation challenges and ensuring we have reliable sources of energy and water resources, whether it's solar or another form of energy. And that drives you right back to math, science, and engineering coming out of school. As far as the Great Park is concerned, you're all not going to get there if you don't have a car. And if you do have a car, you're going to sit in traffic to get there. So in these contracts that are being developed with these companies, there should be a caveat in there that say that they have to build some of the areas around there so it's easier for you to get there. So it's easier for you to live there. They're not doing that. They're just putting in whatever they feel like so the investor can get their money back as quick as possible. Thank you.
We've really been dancing a little bit around the issues, but this is a battle for the soul of Irvine. Are we going to let the big money and the big developers buy everything that they want in the city? Or are we going to have advocates for the residents and the small businesses and the people who live there? We have people on one side who have had hundreds of thousands of dollars putting into the messaging in this campaign, talking about, smear campaigns, but because they know they lose on the issue of development. The traffic is unsustainable. We have no plan for our future. The future, for the past 2 years, the plan has been just a rubber stamp for everything that the big developers want. This has happened before. And this is the foundation in 1971 when the city was first planned. When the Irvine Company wanted to do whatever it wanted and the residents said, we need a voice, and this council was first put together. We need to go back to that time when we have an actual representative of the people and advocates. I am an advocate. I've spent more than 20 years representing clients, and I will be a strong and powerful advocate for the people. I will insist that when people are coming here to build developments, that they deal with the infrastructure problems. And what this past council has done has been to privatize the park and to give it to somebody else to build without asking you and saying, and actually what has actually happened was they built all the houses, but they haven't done anything out of the park. They've just broken up some concrete. We need a fight for the residents. We need a fight for the people. We need to not give everything over to the people with the most money and time.
Thank you. I think it's obvious that the most detrimental effects facing the city today is that the city is out of balance. It's out of balance with the rate of new growth of residential development, with our inability to produce a reliable transit plan. We cannot allow this to continue, and if I am elected, and I hope that I am, that I will pledge to call for an immediate moratorium on all building permits in the city until we get input from the residents, and then I will implement a slow growth ordinance that will regulate building permits based upon input from the community, we will determine our rate of growth. And that rate of growth will be balanced with the infrastructure that we need. We need transit. We need to connect our bicycle trails. We need to make sure that we have the amount of water that will serve all of the community instead of just new residential residents. So with that, I wanted to make sure that you knew I was called to run for the mayor because the development of 10,000 more homes and the public hearing was held at a special meeting, not the regular meeting of the Planning Commission. The mayor insisted that we run with this and get it done before Thanksgiving when there were very few people in the audience. 10,000 more homes, 20,000 more cars, 30,000 more people with very little transparency. This cannot continue, and I do hope that we look at this as one of the detrimental effects facing the city, because if this city council and this mayor continue, we will be in deep trouble as a community. Thank you.
I think that one of the most pressing issues that we have in our city is honest and transparent leadership and following through on the promises that are made to the voters. And we're seeing that played out not only in this campaign with the issue of development, whether we should develop, whether we should grow, whether we should stop growth. Words like moratorium have been bandied about. But I think that what's really needed here, whether we're talking about unfunded pension liabilities or the rate of growth, and we need to make sure that we're electing leaders that are following through with the promises that they make. I was talking recently with the Irvine Police Association, and my point to them was, regardless of the contract that we may agree to, the most important thing is